Next up at UFC Vegas 86, we have Devin Clark taking on Marcin Prachnio. Devin Clark, 14-8 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off that wild fight with Kennedy Nzechukwu. He's taking on Marcin Prachnio, 16-7 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that submission loss to Vitor Petrino. This should be a fun fight. Both these guys lay it out there. Both these guys can hang. Devin Clark, solid grappler, pretty well-rounded striking. Chin isn't the best, but he does have some good footwork, heavy hands. He likes to crowd and then work you to the ground. Once he takes you down, he's going to look to strike. What?
What'd you say?
What? I was like, what?
He's got a great ass.
That's what you said in the middle of my sentence? Between that and the Drake thing, boy, everything you need just a couple clicks away.
You were describing Devin Clark, and you didn't mention that he's got a great ass, but he's got a great ass.
Well, that's what he uses to get the takedowns. All those glutes. He wants to crowd. He wants to get you to the ground. Once you're on the ground, he's going to look to TKO you more than he is going to look for a submission. He's coming off that guillotine loss to Kennedy Nzechukwu. And if all you do is look at Tapology and see the recent rec, he goes, no, you got to watch this fight. Because it is important to note, he almost had Kennedy out of there and out of there early, and he showed how insanely tough he can be in that fight. He's taking on Marcin Prachnio. Marcin Prachnio, while he doesn't have the greatest MMA record of all time at 16-7, he does have over 400 combat karate wins and an insanely long list of accomplishments.
Did you say 400?
Yeah.
Is that a real stat?
Yeah. They said it on a broadcast, so I wrote it down.
400.
And if John Anik said it, it's true. Okay.
Well, it seems
I
like
see you're getting your energy back. Yeah. No, that's great.
I'm fucking actually kind of fading here.
Oh,
all your fucking nonsense.
Oh, okay. Well, Marcin Prachnio has a whole bunch of combat karate wins, a lot of accomplishments. He wants to come in here and be a technical brawler. No problem getting into a firefight. The issue, though, his chin does not always allow that. He's got a bunch of power in his hands, but he can be KO or bust. He's coming off that submission loss to Vitor Petrino, which was also an incredible back-and-forth war. Ultimately was taken down and then finished. Devin Clark on Twitter, called me uneducated. Said Jacob was educated.
He liked me, yeah.
Yeah, it said educated versus uneducated in our breakdown. And it was our breakdown in the Azat Mirzakhanov fight. And I said Mirzakhanov's going to win this fight. And Devin Clark took it upon himself to insult me, my education, my Connecticut, top 3 education state in the country, came at me and insulted my education.
You think you could out-grapple him?
No. Well, no.
Same size, probably.
Light heavyweight. Yeah, but he's in shape. No.
Interesting, because he's going to watch this, and if you... Typically, you would be all over it.
I'm probably...
William Knight, you were very confident against William Knight.
Yeah, because we wrestled in the same state. Now, yeah, no problem. That's not a problem. Obviously, the physical prowess is astonishing.
Great ass.
On both those guys. Anyway, point being, Marcin Prachnio is not Azamat Mirzakhanov. I think Devin Clark will crowd, will slug it out, will grind, will get it to the ground, and I think he's absolutely going to win this fight. With that being said, Prachnio is dangerous, does hit hard, and minus 220 seems expensive, and that's not a slight on Devin because Devin is good. We know he's tough. We saw him tough it out in his last fight. We know he can get takedowns. We know he can grind forward. But Marcin Prachnio is dangerous, so I think the odds are a little tricky, mostly because of how hard Marcin can hit. And look what he just did in his last fight. But if Devin Clark survives 2 minutes of storm, he wins this fight. He should win. Pretty confident in Devin to get it done. What do you think, Cheeky Boy?
Yeah, this feels like, with these odds at minus 200, I mentioned in the Discord, this feels like the Urbina fight of last week. And I can't remember what side you were on, but I said that Urbina at minus 200 felt like the worst value on the card And it turned out it definitely was. I mean, Radke came in. But the reason why he was minus 200 and the reason why Devin Clark is minus 220 is because they both are better fighters. Urbino is a better fighter than Radke. Radke came in, just kind of crowded him, just kind of smoked him early. Devin Clark's a better fighter than Marcin Prachnio. He's a tough dude. He's got wrestling. He's got decent striking. He's got decent power in his hands as well. What I worry about is Prachnio gets a little bit wild sometimes. He does do some wild stuff. And even in that Vitor fight, if that wasn't Vitor, who is just like a marble statue that just eats. I mean, the way that he was just eating these shots was just incredible. If Devin Clark comes in and is eating those same shots, I think Devin Clark is in trouble. So I think Devin Clark needs to come in, mind his P's and Q's early, working some takedowns early, grind this. As you mentioned, grind out that first round, and then the pop is going to be out of Prachnio in this fight. But I do worry about Devin Clark in this fight. You know, he seems like a great guy, but this feels like the Urbina fight of last week. He should be the favorite because he is the better fighter. But I think Prachnio comes in and does something weird and hurts this guy and finds a way to win the fight. So I'm going with Prachnio here, but it's not like I'm all over him type of thing because Devin is the better fighter.
He's the better fighter and he's tough. So obviously a chin's a chin, right? But he is tough and he will try to weather. He won't. I don't think he'll willingly quit, but certainly his body could give up on him. But it should be a fun fight. Both of these guys have been in pretty exciting fights back to back here. So it should be a fun fight. Are you going to spend the $8,900? I guess the reason he's $8,900 is if Devin wins, he's putting Marcin away. Marcin's not necessarily the beacon of durability.
Well, you're asking me if I'm spending money on a guy I didn't pick. So
yeah, I guess that is not a great question.
Terrible interview there.
So fine, you're going to spend the $7,300 on Prachnio?
I actually think this is a really close decision. I don't think there's any finishes here. I think Devin Clark finds a way to make this a kind of a grindy fight, and I think both these guys are underrated with their toughness. So I think this is a decision fight, and I think Marcin can do enough in the striking to win the decision.
It should be an exciting fight, and this is a weird card because I broke down in my quick picks. I started off with like, this is not a great card, and then as I was going through it, I was like, actually, this fight's decent. Ooh, this fight's pretty decent, and this should just be a fun fight. Does it matter for the light heavyweight division or rankings? No.
I don't think it's
but it should be a fun fight. You what?
Boring. I think it's pretty boring.
Really? Marcin's not really a boring guy, and Devin can get into a firefight himself.
I think smartly tries to make it
slows it down, just grapples his ass off. And Devin's dad, according to the comment section here, will not be in his corner. And he was always, he was always a fun part of those fights. Anyway, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. You can unlock all the picks, all the bets, all the round line leans, and more for every single fight, every single week. We are kicking off, or actually we're the second week into an 11-week fight stretch. So your $10 gets you 4 weeks worth of data, information, and insight. $2.50 a week. Grow up. What are we doing here? Grow up, guys. Before you go, let me give you $50. Anybody who goes to WeWantPicks.com/bets and signs up with any one of our affiliate partners gets $50 as a thank you. Use the link, sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you.